What is going on, Amazon sellers? What we're going to be talking about today is listing optimization. Okay, now I'm getting a lot of people that hit me up all the time. They slide in my DMs and they ask me. They say, "Hey, can you kind of help me out a little bit with the listing optimization because I'm having a hard time understanding how exactly do I optimize my listing?" Okay, so what you see before you here is a listing that I feel is really good, and I believe that once you hear what I have to say, you guys will feel that it's really good as well. Okay, basically, the number one thing of listing optimization is to consider three different aspects. Okay, so number one is product photography. You have to pay attention to the organization of your pictures, how your pictures look, how professional your pictures look, because that is basically going to be the very first thing that your customer sees. Now, studies have shown that people are going to click on the listing based on the pictures. Okay, so if you have garbage pictures, then no one's going to click on your listing. Okay, now the second thing you have to pay attention to is your title. Your title is the next thing that they look at. They look and they read and they say, okay, this has this many options. This has this many colors. This is stainless steel. This is professional grade, whatever the case may be. People are actually reading your titles, so you do need to put a bit of work into your titles. Okay, and then the very last thing that people are going to read are your bullet points. Now, specifically your first three bullet points. Okay, now your first three bullet points need to completely wow your customer as soon as they get to that point. Okay, also keep in mind that especially on mobile, what Amazon does is they kind of minimize your last two bullet points, so you probably won't even see them. You probably won't even see those on mobile. So really, your customer is just going to read those first three bullet points. They might not even take the time to, click the expand button in order to read the rest of your bullet points. Okay, so I'm going to start from the beginning here, and I'm going to explain why each individual thing is actually super important. Okay, so number one, we have your pictures. Okay, obviously, I think we all know that Amazon terms of service say that we have to have an all white background. Okay, usually they don't want you to have a box here. They don't like it when you have boxes and things of that nature in the background. They really only want just the product itself. But I haven't seen anybody really run into any problems with that, so you can get away with doing stuff like that. Also, I would suggest maybe putting your logo here in the corner somewhere so that your competitors don't try to purchase your product or something during the giveaway and then jump on your listing and kind of screw you all up. Okay, the next thing that I want to say about product listings is you have to have professional listings. You absolutely have to have professional pictures in your listing. There's no way around it. Like I said before, this is the first thing that people are looking at when they are going to your listing. The very first thing, your pictures. Okay, I can't stress that enough. Have your pictures tell a story. Don't just throw a bunch of pictures together. Also, you kind of want to split them up. You want to have a couple of shots of the product itself. You want to have a couple of lifestyle shots. You get about 7 slots to fill for pictures, so use all of those. Okay, don't put 2 pictures on there and then think that people are going to purchase your product, because people can kind of tell. They kind of have a second sense sometimes, especially for the more seasoned Amazon sellers. They or shoppers, I should say, they kind of have a sixth sense, and they can kind of tell when something is kind of sloppily put together. And sometimes they know that if it's not a brand name that they already trust, like Walmart, if it's not something like a Best Buy item, if it's not like a Sony product, they already are kind of fearful of what it might be, because they can probably tell that it's probably generic or from overseas somewhere. Okay, now obviously if somebody like Sony were to put something on Amazon and then they only had 2 pictures, they could get away with that. Okay, because obviously they're Sony, right? So keep that in mind when you are doing your pictures. Now, as we look at these pictures here, we can see that we can zoom into the picture and just kind of see every single detail of the product itself and the product packaging. Okay, now you have to be able to, your pictures have to be about, I believe it's 1,000 by 1,000. Don't quote me on that, but it has to be, I believe it's about 1,000 by 1,000, and that gives you the ability to zoom into your product. Okay, now that gives the customer the illusion that, damn, this product is really detailed. They took really detailed pictures, okay, etc., etc. Now also see how they kind of have a picture of the product here in action. All right, they got the little pieces of garlic or onions or whatever the fuck that is. They got those in there, and basically the customer could kind of see that this is what this, how this product works. They kind of get an idea of you know, how they would personally use it if they had it, and you know, it gives them a good vibes about the listing itself. Also, lifestyle shots like this, kind of showing the product in action. These are extremely good to have because, like I said before, it gives the customer the illusion that, you know, they're in the picture themselves using that product, and it gives them the ideas in their head, like, hey, I can envision myself using this product. Okay, because like these pictures are actually pretty good. I mean, you can tell that they're professionally done. He's got a couple of lifestyle shots. You can zoom into the product. They got pictures of the product from all different angles. The only other thing that I would probably add to this listing is I would probably, for this, for example, for this particular picture, I would actually probably put like the diameters of the product, like so that way that the customers can know how long it is, and you know, maybe something about the material that it's made out of. And you can do things like that. You just can't do them on the main, on your main picture. Okay, but yeah, that's what I would do differently on this particular picture. But other than that, these pictures are great. Okay, if you need help understanding, look at things like this. Use this video here as your guide so that you can kind of understand how to best optimize your listing. Okay, now moving on to your product title. Okay, so now we see here that they have Or Blue stainless steel garlic press, mincer and crusher with garlic peeler, professional grade, dishwasher safe, rusting proof, and self-cleaning. Now it sounds kind of weird, but they really did a good job with this title, and the reason I say that is because they stuffed it with keywords. Okay, and the point of stuffing it with keywords is so that you can rank for as many words as possible. Now obviously we know that on the back end we have a certain amount of keywords to help us rank and index or whatever, but we also want to have our main keywords, our top keywords. We want those to be in our title. Okay, so you see that they have stainless steel garlic press. Obviously this is a garlic press, so they have that at the forefront. Now usually I would put the brand name maybe at the end or not at all. This, it kind of just depends on how long exactly is your brand, your company's name, like how long is it. If you have a super long name, you don't want to waste time, you don't want to waste precious characters trying to put your brand name in there. And the reason I say that is because right here above the title, you can actually click this and just go straight to your storefront. You can see your company's name right there, so it's not necessary to even put a company name in your title at all, to be totally honest with you. All right, what you want to focus on doing is having your main keyword as close to the beginning of the title as possible. Okay, so they did a pretty good job here. They got a bunch of other things in here, because probably mincer and crusher with garlic peeler is probably part of one of their long tail keywords, and professional grade, because they probably got professional grade stainless steel garlic press is probably a long tail keyword that they are trying to rank for. So just keep that in mind. It's going to not make sense when you say it out loud, but the numbers will say differently. Okay, when you see that you're getting a bunch of sales because you are indexing for specific keywords because you stuffed them into your title, you know, you're really not going to care about how the title exactly sounds, and quite frankly, the customer is not going to care exactly how the title sounds either. They only read the title so that they can see if they can find what their needs are within your title, okay, if that makes sense. And another thing that they're looking for to fit their needs is in your bullet points. Now, your bullet points, you get 5 of them. And just kind of a rule of thumb is like you want what best describes your product in one word. You want that front and center at the beginning of your bullet points, and you want to have it capitalized. So they didn't do it for these first 2, but they did do it for this third one where it says multi-purpose. Okay, multi-purpose is a keyword that describes their product, in one word. Now, this is not necessarily a keyword for ranking. It's just a keyword that describes the product itself, and it kind of puts into perspective what the customer is looking for and what they should expect to get out of this product if they were to make a purchase. Okay, so I mean, it looks like they did it for 2 of them and they didn't do it for all of them. I mean, that's totally fine. I'm just saying that I know that I've seen a lot of success and a lot of conversion rates utilizing this particular method, but you don't actually have to do that if you, if you don't feel like it's necessary. But the main thing that I want you to take away from your bullet points is you want all 5 bullet points to basically explain to your customer how it is that your product is going to take care of a need that they have. Okay, you want to call out a problem that the customer has, and you want to say, hey, my product is going to fix that. And the second thing that you want to do is you want to stuff your bullet points with keywords as well. Now, keep in mind that we don't want to repeat keywords that we already have on the back end, and we don't want to repeat keywords that we already have in the title if possible. Okay, there's no point in that because it's only going to count once. So whatever keywords we don't put in our back end and whatever keywords that we don't put in our title, we want to go ahead and throw those into our bullet points to help describe to the customer why our product is superior. Also, remember what I said, you want your top 3 bullet points to be the best bullet points out of the 5, because depending on where they're viewing your listing from, you may or may not have your other 2 bullet points available to the customer to see at that particular point. Okay, and those 3 things are what I want you to focus on. Okay, those 3 things are what I want you to focus on, because these 3 things are extremely powerful, and they are things that are extremely necessary in order to have a successful and converting listing. Okay, I'm seeing too many people kind of half-ass their listing. They're not really trying. They're just kind of slapping some stuff together. Their pictures are poor quality, and their bullet points are just kind of sloppily thrown together. And their title is too short. They're not utilizing all of the characters. And I'm actually going to show you right now an example of a terrible listing that's just complete garbage. And I'm going to show you how powerful having an optimized listing actually is. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and we're going to go to this guy here. Now, this is a gymnastics grip. Okay, now look at this garbage. Look at this garbage. 2 pictures, only 1 picture of the actual product itself. They are already violating Amazon's terms of service because they didn't even bother to put the product on a white background. This is some kind of like grayish background. Okay, also notice that there's no logos, there's no branding, there's nothing here that sets this product apart from all the other gymnastics grips that you could probably find on Amazon, and I'm sure those are much better. I'm sure that there's at least a logo on them. These are the most generic of generic pictures that you could possibly get. You can tell that these pictures were taken directly from the supplier, and that's just kind of something that I personally frown on, because you and your grandmother are also going to be, having those same exact pictures. Okay, so keep that in mind as you move forward. Don't use your suppliers' pictures. Maybe if you are waiting to have your pictures done and you just want to have some pictures up to kind of give customers that might potentially see the product an idea of what it looks like, then that's fine. But if you plan on creating a six-figure business just running your suppliers' pictures, then you're ultimately going to fail. Okay. Now the second thing, like, yeah, they have this size here, but I mean, usually it doesn't matter if you have this. It would have been good if they would have maybe had the product here and then kind of shown on the different sizes. That could potentially have been okay. But notice how it doesn't even matter because people are already turned off when they look at this main image because it's just complete garbage. Okay. Now let's move on to the title. And I remember what I said about the title. We want to stuff it with keywords, right? And we want our keywords to be at the very beginning of the title, if possible. Okay. Now we have beginner, soft hook, and loop, gymnastics, grips, period, exclamation point. That doesn't make sense. It's not necessary. There's no point in putting exclamation points or periods or any type of punctuation because, I mean, at the end of the day, punctuations are not part of our keywords. You can't, I mean, very few people are typing in period and people are ranking for it. That is just not logical and it just doesn't make sense. They didn't put any effort whatsoever into their title. They didn't put any effort into their pictures, and you can see that their stars reflect that. They have 3.7 out of 5 stars, and for good reason. I'm surprised they actually even have any sales at all. Okay. Also, let's move down to the bullet points. Notice the difference between these bullet points here and these bullet points here. And you can tell that these bullet points here are well thought out. Okay. And you can see that these guys here didn't even put any keywords into their bullet points. They didn't emphasize a concern that their product is fulfilling for the customer. And overall, I mean, they're just too short. I mean, it just kind of seems fake. This is basically the equivalent of one of those sketchy Shopify stores that doesn't have any, identification badges or anything like that. Okay. Also, what I did want to point out, and I forgot to mention this, I kind of said it, but in your titles, guys, make sure that your keywords are in there. I believe I just said that, but I just kind of want to drive that home because people are forgetting how easy it is to rank for simple keywords just by throwing them into your bullet points. Okay, but anyway, back to this garbage. This is complete garbage, and I don't want any of my students doing anything like this. Okay, it really takes a lazy person to really put listings together like this. Now this is probably one of the Chinese suppliers that just doesn't care, but for us, we want to create businesses around this. We want to create multi-million businesses selling on Amazon, and we don't want to do it this way, and we can't do it this way. Okay, now I'm going to prove to you why it's so important to have your listing optimized. Okay, so what I'm going to do is here I have pulled up wordtree.io. You guys can, this is actually the Chrome extension, so you guys can go to Google and type in wordtree.io Chrome extension, and basically what this is an index checker. All right, and what it does is it lets me know what keywords any particular product is ranking for based on its ASIN. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this garlic press's ASIN, and the ASIN is right here. Okay, remember it starts with B. If you don't know what the ASIN is at, the ASIN is usually right here where it says ASIN. And I'm going to just copy this. I'm actually just going to copy this ASIN and I'm going to paste it. Alright. Now, I'm going to say I want to see if this product is ranking for garlic press. So I type that in. I got keywords selected and I'm going to click check now. Alright. Now, when I go down here, it lets me know that this particular listing is in fact index for garlic press, right? And that's great. So then I could go and grab a bunch of other keywords. I can actually take one of my spreadsheets and just throw it in here and click check now, and it'll let me know all the different keywords that I'm indexed for. And you'll know what keywords that you're not indexed for because it'll say no. And you'll know that, hey, maybe I can go into my bullet points or my title and I can rearrange some things and then put that particular keyword in there so that I'm indexing for it. Now, I'm going to do the same exact thing to this product here. If I can find the listing, there it is. So I'm going to click copy. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to copy and paste. Alright. And let me see. I want to see if this product is actually ranking for its main keyword, which is gymnastics grips. Now we're going to see. Now I'm going to click check now. Now look at this. It says no. Gymnastics grips, which is this product's main keyword, this is its broad keyword, is not even ranking for it. Okay, and the reason for that is because of the listing. This listing is not even optimized for the broad keyword that it is supposed to be ranking for. Okay, and that's just such a weird thing. It's not indexing for that, right? That doesn't make sense. That what that tells me is that nowhere in, well, really nowhere in like their back end or anything like that, people are going to have a hard time finding this product because it's not even indexed. I mean, obviously they might find it every so often because it has sales, but you know, that could just be from PPC, or it could be, you know, there's a lot of different things and variables that go into it. But at the end of the day, we see that the garlic press is having no problem indexing for its keywords, but we see that the listing that is not optimized is not indexing for its keywords. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of see how powerful it is, and you know, the power that comes from actually taking the time to optimize your listing. All right. Now, for those of you who just kind of had trouble following what I'm talking about, and you just want to outsource the whole thing, you can actually go to Fiverr here, and basically you can find someone here on Fiverr, type in Amazon listing. There's a bunch of people that will actually optimize your listing for you. Like this guy here is one guy I've used before. I mean, there's a couple of people on here that they do really good jobs. They will do your listing in terms of your title and your bullet points. And if you want someone to do your pictures for you, you can type in Amazon photography, and there's a bunch of people who will do your pictures for between $30 and $500. And the way that would work is you would basically send them your product, and when they get it, they'll take the pictures. And if you want the product back, you'll have to give them a return address and probably pay the shipping to get the product back. Okay, that's usually how that will work. I personally use Viral Launches. I personally use Viral Launches photography service because they do a really good job, and they do a really good job of a kind of telling a story with my pictures of my product. Okay, so but you know, it costs about $4.97, so it's up to you. But just keep in mind what I said here. Everything that you learned here, these are life hacks. Okay, these are life hacks. These are things that you didn't know that you know now. All right, because people are kind of underestimating how powerful these product listings can actually be, and you really need to keep this in mind, that you know, your listing could kind of make or break whether or not your product is converting, and whether or not people are actually making a purchase. Okay, so I believe that's all that I have to say on the subject for today. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do so that the next time I make a video, you will be notified about it. Alright? So until next time, I will talk to you guys later.